Man, guys, there is no way I'm walking 300 and some watts. It's like half that.
The accuracy of some of these skill mills are
What?
wild. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy my first episode of, let's call it the Running Podcast, where I'm joined with Anthony. If you guys don't know Anthony, he is a force to be reckoned with in the ultra endurance space. So today we're going to talk about him, talk a little bit about goal setting, how we approach those long endurance ultras, even the competitions I'm doing right now, and we'll let this free flow, see where we go from there.
Try to get weird.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into the ultra space. Yeah, give us your, how you got into ultras, how it led you down to the path where you're at now, and just give us a brief overview of Anthony.
Yeah. I mean, we all gravitate to what we're good at least initially.
Yep.
And I was that person who, if I got my ass kicked all season in the 5K, my local turkey trot was thankfully a 10K. So after cross-country season, I was just like scalping all these dudes that beat me all season.
Hell yeah.
I was like, okay, so I'm better as it goes longer. That makes sense. And that was before I started putting in volume. And so like that was innate.
Okay.
Like durability, like that's the talent that I've had historically. And from there, it was, I mean, I knew from the first time, like in high school, when I transitioned to reading a book in the back of class, and it was like a textbook anyway, it just wasn't the class that I was in, you know? It was like exercise science stuff. First it was Bannister with the 4-minute mile, being like super analytical and saying, no, the nerds say your heart will explode if you run that fast, but I have all my data. There's no reason I can't run 3:58 in the mile.
Between what textbooks say and what practice says, two different things. If it works in practice, who cares what a textbook's gonna say?
Well, in the textbooks, 15 to 20 years down the road, will say what the people that are doing the things say now.
Yep, exactly.
And that's what we have in a lot of exercise science and supplementation and all this stuff. It's the elite athletes might be wrong on 4 out of 5 things, but that 1 out of 5 things that's proven right, it takes so long to get data and funding and peer review and all that stuff that if you sit around and wait for things to be proven, you're 15 years behind your bolder competitors.
100%.
And so I really liked that analytical, that taps into what my why from like, 15 years old.
Hell
I just wanted to know what it could be like. And even from, 17, 18, I had a local ultra runner I was in Southside Chicago, like Aurora area, outside Chicago. And there was a dude down there, Zach, that went on to win Badwater, like the year after I met him.
Yeah.
And I saw Badwater and I call it my chasing Mavericks moment. Of like you see something and you're like, this is why I'm here.
Okay.
And it's just like, boom. And from that point on, it was like, how do I do this?
Yep.
How do I talk about this, do this, experiment with this, be around these people? How do I fill my life with this as much as I possibly can?
I like that. It's one thing to be good at something. It's another thing to love what you're actually good at and chase it even further.
Yeah, I love the process and I love the data, but I am not my data. Like there is, at a thing like this, it's like, Dave Asprey posted a biohacking thing back in June that I was at.
Yep.
And it's everybody wants to, the theme was like living past 120. And I was like, man, there's some deep philosophical questions in there. Why these nerdy white people want to live to 120 if I don't? And I'm like, you can tell I love life with both of us silent from 100 meters away. You can see that I love life more than this person. Why do they want to live 130 years and I don't? And it's like, I'm just busy living, you know? It doesn't matter. And some of these guys, we were talking about Brian Johnson. It's like, you're not your sleep score, bro. Like you're not even your biological age.
You're right. Like data is really good to have, but if you're so in tune to and you make those numbers about yourself,
yes,
it can really drastically kind of get in your head and really
it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
It's not the end.
I feel like it caps you. It puts you at a level
where
you're like, I'll never pass this level because this is what data says.
Yeah.
Where
that is always the concern.
You can wake up feeling your absolute worst and outperform yourself.
Yeah.
Whenever you
Dude, I loved your experiment. Add that link down here. I love the lifting blind. I was like, dude, what if
blind.
you trained like that for like 6 months?
Yeah, the lifting blind experiment was fun.
It would have to just be Greeked plates, like plates with no label on them. You're like, this feels heavy today. Like, I kind of think.
It's funny because that's my mentality. Like, a lot of people will tell me not to go for max lifts every day.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not conducive, that won't get you strong. But then again, when I was building up for my deadlift, that's all I did.
Yeah.
I maxed out every single week for my deadlift, put on over 100 pounds.
Nice.
And that's all it took. Science says don't do that. Yet, what we just learned in practice says keep doing that.
Yeah.
So,
or at least at that time, for you, given everything else. Yeah, you build the base.
Oh, guess the motion sensor is not near the skill mills. But yeah, there was one feat in particular I was chasing, the 100-pound mile.
Yeah.
And people actually did a review of my running technique. They're like, look how his feet are flaring out.
While you're weighted?
He's overstepping, doing all this thing.
And now.
And I'm like, I did whatever it took to get myself across the line in a world record time.
Yeah, dude, those people. Like, those people are 100 level. Those people are playing checkers.
You can analyze anything you want. At the end of the day, I hit a 6:21 mile with 100 pounds.
Yep.
And in order to do that, it was just training every day, running with that ruck. Science telling me, no, that's not good for your joints. Well, we learned that.
Yeah.
Total bullshit. We do know the cells communicate via stress. That's how they talk. I applied stress. They talked. They adapted.
Well, what was your body weight for that?
My body weight was 200 pounds.
Yeah, like I think if I did a 65-pound ruck at $130, no one would be like, that's idiotic. Like, but because it's 100 pounds. Yeah, I think that's the area that I like to occupy the most, is that area where you have that moment of, I'm so well educated and I don't know what I'm looking at. That's the thing. It's like, snowshoe racing had a similar thing to what you're describing. But I wasn't hating. But it's like I was the person like, that dude looks like shit. Why is he crossing the finish line before me? And it's like, well, because snappy, boundy, mechanics don't work on snowshoes.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, scratch everything that you know. It's like, the world is wide open to you. But I think people are so anxious, they'd rather have an answer and fight you over it that's imperfect. Even if they knew it was wrong, give me a mostly right answer. So I can stop worrying about things.
That's what I love most about fitness, because you can always find something that's yet to be discovered.
Yep.
And a lot of times, if it's something new, people don't know how to rationalize it. They don't know how to break it down. There's not a clear-cut path of training because no one went for it. Yeah. Like when I did that Strongman marathon, it's a marathon. People
what's the parameters of that?
So the parameters
we watched that right when you dropped it. We were great friends. In my house in Durango, if it's individual sports and we can access it, it's on.
Yeah, the premise of that was 13 of those miles were with the vest on, and the other 13 miles were an obscure mile.
Yeah. Where
it was a mile of a tire flip, a sled drag, a yoke carry, a kettlebell toss, all for 26 miles. So in its own sense, that's an ultra event. It was over 9 hours for me.
For sure.
And people can rationalize like, okay, 26 miles. Do you want to run a marathon? There's a clear-cut pattern, training methodology of how to do so. And there's thousands of them. Most of them just start running.
Yeah.
But for this, you got to worry about, all right, is my core going to stay engaged? Am I going to burn out from carrying a yoke for a mile? Is that mile going to offset the next one that I have? There's a lot of unknowns going in.
Nothing grip intensive, right?
There were carries.
See, I think that would be the first thing gone, right? Tell me I'm wrong.
The first thing that went was my shoulders. Doing a
like
burpee,
delts shoulders?
front shoulders.
Fuck, dude.
Doing a burpee broad jump, and then going into the handstand walk.
Oh, I mean, maybe I wasn't even thinking about events, but.
Yeah, that crushed me. But it's one of those things that you don't know until you get there.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I learned. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is early on. I can't stop because I still have, 20 miles to go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna end it here. And it's just one of those grueling things, like, okay, the mind's hurting, but the body can keep going. And I'll just worry about the next event. That's where it comes down to like the checklist.
Yep.
Like when you're in ultras, like you don't worry about the last mile, you just worry about the next foot in front of you.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
And the last few things always take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Once you can smell the barn, it's game
like
on.
every time I crossed 800 meters to go to the next 800,
Yeah.
I was like, sick, if I already made it this far, I can finish out this mile and I'll get to the next. And just following that routine checklist in my head.
Yeah.
But when it comes to ultras for you, how do you break it down?
No, if I'm doing that, it's game over. if I'm having to check boxes, 50% chance I'm dropping out immediately.
Really?
Yeah, I won the 50-mile national championship. Beat a bunch of people that are people.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't have. But it was like 90 degrees. It was hilly gravel. It was like you couldn't have made a better event for me. Like it worked. So it's like, good luck for me, tough luck for everybody else. I opened the door, race morning, and the hot air came in. It was dark still.
Yeah.
I was like, I just won this thing. Like there's no way. Like 100% humidity, fall, heat no one was expecting. I was like, I just won this thing. And it happened. It was smooth Sunday stroll. There's an interview of me crossing the finish line, and I'm more relaxed than I am right now. Like,
dude, that's great. Opening the door that morning knowing it's going to be like going your way from the get-go.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like I'm gonna run fast. It was just like, we're gonna throw eggs against the wall and like, these are my conditions. But it was
wild.
First time, dumb luck, right? 6 months later, I win the 100K national champs. Instead of 85 degrees, it was 5 degrees. And it was,
drastic difference.
Instead of 1 loop, it was 20 loops. Instead of 6,000 feet of gain or 5,000 feet of gain, it was like maybe 500 feet of gain. It was like, it couldn't have been more different as far as, a 6-ish hour event goes. And I won that. And it's like, all right, how do I justify this? Like now I have auto Team USA entry. It's like, okay, the imposter syndrome needs to get the fuck out of here. Like clearly, like if I'm not the person, then who's the person? Show me the person.
Yeah.
And so just kind of, I really love that. You see it done many times, but the dude carving himself out of marble.
Yep.
Like I love that image. Like I think that's what we're doing with our heads. Like
okay.
It hurts and it's you until you freaking carve it away. And then it's just like this inert tissue that you throw to the side. And like, that's true in a literal sense with your skin. You get,
I feel
you
like
get some
we
skin
are
peeling
so
off.
drastically different of how we approach events.
Dude, so what I'm getting at is, I did the thing. I did the thing. If I was doing it for you or anyone else, I'd be fucking done, dude. I would go talk. I'd be a speaker at an event like this.
Yeah.
Like Ben Greenfield, who I like, but he's done doing the thing.
Do you learn about yourself like at all in the middle of these races?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me about that.
You know who's spoken to me recently is old school Alan Watts stuff.
Okay.
He said, you look at something and the teacher says, hey, pay attention.
Yeah.
And you squint and you lean over and you get tense. And then every time you want to engage with the world, you squeeze your eyes and your fists and you look real hard at it, and you focus real hard at it. Uh-huh. None of that helps you focus.
No, it doesn't.
But then you associate that tension as you.
Okay.
That's what you learn as you. That's you interacting with the world is, let me look at this thing. Let me hold this thing and put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like a baby. Or me. Put it in my mouth to know it. And so, I was listening to some old school Alan Watts thing, getting at that. And I said, man, this is what I'm doing right now. Like, who am I if I soften? If I just close my eyes and I just receive what's coming to me and I just let it go. You know what? Like this feels like this is the effort I want to go for a 15-miler. Because right here, it feels like all of my cells want to move this fast all the time. And when I'm not putting in this force, they're lost.
So you are 100% present.
In a perfect world.
Okay, so 80% like you are in tune with this is how like the air's approaching my face.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, I would say on a given Wednesday or Saturday, there's a 75% chance on either or both of those days that I forget that I'm training. I'm not training. I am just in, waves in. You know, people say zoned out. I'm like, no, zoned in. Zoned gone. Like so in that the bounds of your skin disappear.
That is a hyper flow state right there.
Yeah, and that's what I'm after. I'm like, listen, I don't need to win World's Toughest Mudder to sleep at night. If you're gonna tell me that if I just did it your way, then I'll go run 115 miles and win, fuck that. I don't care. I mean, really. I don't care about the money. I don't care that you think it's cool. I don't care. I want the subjective experience of meeting God. Because I already did the thing. Me at 18, dude, I couldn't win a 100K national championship. Something with an auto Team USA entry under the International Olympic Committee? No way. That's not for me. I'm not talented enough. I'm a grinder. I'm smart. I'll sacrifice my whole life on this altar, but there's people that have more talent than me that have put in.
I think at any given sport or fitness thing you do, there's always going to be someone more talented.
Yeah.
Whatever you enter.